Hello dear friends, my name is Dmitry Gishpling-Chernov, an operatic tenor and a vocal coach, and here is another vocal tip for you. Why am I standing? Because we're going to talk about high notes again. It's a never-ending topic, and I want to show you a way, one of the ways to approach the high notes. There is something I heavily repeat in some of my vocal tips, and obviously in this one as well. There are things that you can do only when you have a developed, basic, good vocal technique. So what I'm going to show you now is for professional singers and developed students. It's not for beginners. It's not for people who want to learn how to sing or in the beginning of the process. You're going to simply harm your voice and harm your vocal cords probably if you're going to do it. So please don't do it, because what I'm showing about the high notes, it requires a good, developed, healthy, correct middle register. You have to be already a good singer to be able to go and play, let's say, with this kind of stuff. And also better to do it with a good teacher, with an ear that you trust, that can navigate you. What is the idea? There are different ways to approach high notes. I have a lot of videos also about high notes. You can see them here in the playlist of my vocal tips, or just go and search on YouTube. But I'm going to show you one particular trick now. The idea is to do basically everything, all the preparation as you do for a normal note, and then go high with a certain, I will show you, more narrow voice that sometimes used by crossover singers. Some call it also Voce Finta, which is basically, which means fake voice, but not in a way of falsetto. It's more kind of a quiet, small version of a full operatic sound in a way. Basically, it means that technically we prepare everything. We just go there very small, thinking almost like falsetto, and what it gives us is it gives us the sensation of a closure of the vocal cords without the involvement of the power and all the muscle work and basically underchords pressure that we do need if we want this note to be loud. So first step would be to play with this, let's call it Voce Finta. Okay? Like ah, ah. You feel the larynx is low, everything is as it would be if I would go big, but it doesn't really involve this mechanism of full support, underchords air pressure, which creates the energy that then the bones are resonating and creating a loud sound. It's more of a very particular chords closure on a very kind of safe mode, okay? But by the color, you can see that everything is prepared. It's not that. It's really basically a small version, a miniature version of the full high note. Okay, so I would say, imagine that the frame is big, but the picture in this frame is small. You can increase the picture, but the frame is already there. Okay, and so we can play with that. And then I can increase it. What I'm doing when I'm increasing it, I'm not changing anything. I'm taking a small one and I give it more energy. Now I've showed you a kind of full process. You have to play very careful with that. It's really about catching the right feeling and then understanding that the high note, and actually a very high note, is much easier to do. It requires much less heaviness that you may think it is. Okay? I will go right away to an extreme example from Puritani, and I'll go with this Voce Finta very much up. I will establish this note, and then I will slowly develop it to a real voice. Okay? You will notice that the color doesn't change much, but the volume changes a lot, and the resonance as well. The camera probably doesn't really show it so much, but I have another mic here as well. I will try to show you. So if we take this high D, so Re in Politani, and I go totally finta. I prepare myself, though, prepare as a full voice. All the right preparation. I'm not just going there. It's really this. Okay? During the increasing, you hear how the vocal cords adjust and adapt to a growing stream and growing energy that I give to this voice slowly. And there are some noises around, sometimes more, sometimes less. You have to play with it. It's very individual. But you got the idea. Small version of the big voice, and then without changing anything and staying in the same sensation, you just increase kind of the low part of the triangle, vocal triangle. Watch my video about it. That's a term that I kind of invented in my teaching practice, but I use it a lot, okay? So, vocal triangle. So the low part of the triangle. Why are we doing this thing? Because that's the way, not just to learn how much energy you actually need to increase and resonate, and that most of the thing you prepared already before, and you just need to think about the energy you increase, but it also proves your body subconsciously that you don't need to push anything. You don't need too much power for that. It really shows you, if you practice and play with it, it shows you where to stop and how to maintain this healthy resonance without working too much and staying in the right position and let the voice go and cover the orchestra. The next step is going to be to separate them and to try to repeat the higher note without this increasement, to do it in your head, but hit it right away without much stress. And then to hit it. Okay? Repeat the thing. And everything is very free and very loud without too much pushing. I personally, from my practice, I see that it doesn't work for everybody, but if it does work for you, if you're able to remain free and focus on the sound when you're there and not changing anything and just increase the energy and stop without going too much, this is a very good game for your voice because it can really boost the development of very high notes. And usually, not always, but usually, if you are able to do this voce finta in certain notes, here, it means that, I'm very careful about saying it because it's individual, but usually it means that with the proper work, you will be able to develop this note also in voce piena, okay? In the full voice. So, leave your comments for questions or anything you want to say. Subscribe to my channel. I have much more vocal tips to offer, and you're welcome to write questions. I get a lot of questions from all over the world, and I base my vocal tips sometimes based on these questions. Also, for coaching, collaboration, you're welcome to write me in private. You have all the information below. I work internationally, so see you on the next one. Have a good practicing. Ciao.